Welcome to the Whiskey Chasers, where we talk about our passion for whiskey and its history, either amongst ourselves or while interviewing distilleries, all while enjoying a glass. I'm Steve.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Chris.
Please enjoy responsibly while enjoying this week's episode of the Whiskey Chasers. What are we drinking first? Wigle?
Wigle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some Wigle whiskey. I believe it's pronounced Wigle. I'm not entirely sure.
I think you're right.
I mean, what else could it be? Weigel?
Weigel? Yeah, someone said
I
Weigel.
don't think that looks English.
Well, it is from Pittsburgh, so...
Why would it be W? Like, why would the W
Weigel?
I
Is
make
it
Y?
Weigel?
Weigel? Weigel? I don't know. Well, it is Pennsylvania Dutch,
Right. So maybe.
What they say while you were there?
You know, I didn't ask.
They never said, here it's Weigel.
I never asked, you know?
It's got to be Wiggle, right?
But I got the chance to go over there. It's only 2.5 hours away from us, maybe 3 hours at most.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's not far.
No, it's not far at all. And they do some interesting stuff. They're all made there. They're all distilled there. There's something with Pennsylvania whiskey that they like to finish. So they're big into finishings. That's where you guys tried that scotch, that rye that was finished in the Lafroig barrels.
Right.
That came from them. They're very proud of their bourbon. This specific bourbon, because I think they also do a cast strength, like a single barrel version of their rye and their bourbon. But this one has got red corn in it, but not butcher's. It's not the bloody butcher corn. It's a different red corn that they use, red corn variant that they use. And I tried it there, and my first thought was, heck yeah, let's see what you guys think, because you guys like Jeff the Creed, and this is going to be something a little different for you guys. So 7:30 in the morning, we're going to crack this guy over.
Let's do it.
A new bourbon, 7:30 in the morning. Gotta love it.
They're great over there if you ever get a chance to go
Now,
over.
I guess I didn't ask you this before, so I'll ask you now. What like, did you randomly hear about this place, or like,
So-
what made you?
There, shout out to one of the guys, one of our listeners. I don't remember his name, and it's gonna kill me.
Wow, fail.
I know, right?
That's a major problem. You should have just made one up at this point.
We got a guy that listens to the podcast pretty regularly. I mean, I'd say he's a good follower of the podcast. He recommended Liberty Pole Distillery, and so when he recommended that, I went, well, what's unique about this? And I found out, okay, they're in Pennsylvania. Then that got me thinking, okay, what else is out in Pennsylvania? Because Pennsylvania is kind of the godfather of rye, I guess you could say. That's where rye kind of got its
It's a
start.
tight cork.
Very tight cork.
Very tight. But that's where rye kind of got its start. So I thought, well, what else is out there? And when I went looking, this was one that popped up almost right away.
Okay, so you actually went looking.
Yeah, I went looking. I knew nothing about this place until I went there. All I knew was they're out of Pennsylvania. Their rye was apparently to die for, like really, really good. It's the old traditional style of Pennsylvania rye that they do. I knew nothing about their bourbon. I knew that they made bourbon, but this wasn't like their thing, if that makes sense. Like, this isn't like, hey, we're known for our bourbon, or we market just our bourbon. They're big on marketing their rye. So I go there and I see that they've got bourbon finished in stout barrels. And I'm thinking, okay, well, this is going to be, if they're doing finishing like that, they've got to have, I would assume, decent bourbon. And I tried their cast strength, single barrel, wonderful. And the gal that was like guiding us through tastings of like, hey, what do you want to try? She said, if you're into unique bourbons, this is one you got to try. Our Wapsie bourbon. It's called Wapsie.
Not Whoopsie.
And I keep thinking Whoopsie. It's Wapsie bourbon.
Weigel and Wapsie.
Yeah, Wiggle Wapsie. It's their Wapsie bourbon. And she said, if you like earthy, you're going to love this. Ironically, she had never tried Jeff the Creed. And I was like, if you like this, you got to go to Jeff the Creed.
So they're doing a good amount of things.
They are. They're doing a lot of things. Steve I'm hoping did a lot of research on this guy. Well,
As
what
much
you
as I could, yeah.
right?
When you deal with these small little distilleries, there's usually like their website, and if you're lucky, like a Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the end of it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what these guys are. So it is Wiggle. At least I think so, because even the pronunciation isn't super helpful. The pronunciation is WIH/GUL. Wigle. Wigle.
Weagle. It's like a Kegel, but for bourbon. I love this. Pull, cork, lift, spirit. That's weird. Like off the. Do you see that? It's so random.
Pull cork with spirit.
I don't think they're trying to be fitty thing there, but
It's a tight cork and they're acknowledging it.
dude, is that a?
It's a pot still.
Oh,
Did you think it was a pipe?
No, I thought it was a little sperm. You get what I'm going with there?
7:30 in the morning.
A way
because-
different way than we thought.
That hits a little harder. It looks like a sperm going right to the egg. Yeah. Okay.
So Wigle,
And they're very in big letters. Wapsie Bourbon.
Yes.
Wapsie Bourbon. So it's named after Philip Wigle. And he was during the Whiskey Rebellion. So he got in a little tuft with a tax collector there. And
So kind of like you and us.
What's that?
It's kind of like you and us.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
We kick you off for a certain amount of time because you're a tax
Right,
collector.
because I'm a tax collector. So weird for my spot as the libertarian in the group, but but yeah, so Peter there, he got in a fight with a tax collector and kind of kicked off the Whiskey Rebellion, or was one of those main first starts to do that.
As you do.
He was captured and was sentenced to prison. At this point, he was sentenced to be executed, actually, because at that you were essentially fighting the government during this. But Washington pardoned a whole bunch of these guys, including him, at the end of the Whiskey Rebellion. So he survived and moved on with life. But yes, that's what it's named after. So he was defending the right to distill in Pittsburgh.
That's the distillery, like where the name.
That's where the name came from, and he was from Pittsburgh. He doesn't have any relation to like the family that started this company or anything, but it's paying homage to him and being in Pittsburgh. And this is the first distillery in Pittsburgh since Prohibition.
They are like downtown Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
by the way.
they're like right
they
there.
are like right by the baseball field.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Which is interesting
Pirates.
because in 2022 the company was sold, so they're no longer family owned.
Oh.
So in 2022 they're bought by the Nutting Corporation, which is
The
the
what?
the Nutting.
Nutting.
Yep,
Okay.
that's the
Robert thinks about that sperm off
That's where
scene.
that sperm came from.
Now we're making more sense.
Bob Nutting is the owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he is now the company that owns us.
They actually this
That's
year
so interesting.
became like the official whiskey sponsor of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right, which makes sense.
Which
now.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think it'd be more like, well, they didn't know at the time, but I wonder if they're going to come out with like a grog.
So they
Or
might.
rum or
So
something.
they are for like the Pirates. So
To
they're
go along with like the pirate thing.
yeah. This company is huge on finishings. They're huge on like community sponsor, like partnership kind of deal. So every year Pittsburgh has a marathon that they do. The Steel, I think it's Steel City Marathon, and they've done it for the last couple of years. But each year for the marathon, they do a special bourbon release for the marathon, and it has the name, the Steel City Marathon 2025, that they do just during the marathon, and then they don't do it after that.
Interesting. So that was family owned and operated. Now it's just
Now it's been purchased. The family, I believe, still has some
stake in the game.
Yeah, some stake in the game. They're still kind
But
of
it's not like
running
they're
the
being
place.
purchased by a huge corporation. or
No,
anything. It's-
no.
It very much feels like Beam in that, because I didn't know they were purchased by a much larger company until you said something like
Is that
going there.
Suntory?
Yeah, when you go there, it doesn't feel like it's owned by a large
And
company.
I wonder if that guy that owns the Pirates or whatever, if
Bob
he's
Nutting,
more
yep.
Nutting. I wonder if he's more just like a hands off, like I own it now, but I'm gonna keep everything the same. Like nothing's changed kind of a thing, but the
Yeah.
name of the owner.
It's kind of I think he's just kind of Pittsburgh proud because of his ownership in the Pirates. As if he's from West Virginia and he's just kind of one of these guys that buys up these companies and runs them or whatever. He's one of the richest MLB owners.
Really? I wouldn't have thought of that of the Pirates.
Yeah, he's not great at being a Pirates owner.
He's one of the richest, just not great.
He's just so he has a lot of money to spend, but doesn't spend it very well on the Pirates, at least in terms of like MLB coaches. He's bottom line Bob.
Bottom line, Bob Nutter.
Yeah. So he's more interested in profit than doing well. So hopefully he's going to keep his hands off on the company and let them kind of continue to run it and just got some money in so that they can help run it. That's the hope.
Now, folks, Chris poured himself a very little bit at first, and I saw him out of the corner of my eye take a sip. And then he just grabbed the bottle and poured more. Yeah. So I'm hoping that's a great thing.
To give you an idea.
To give you an idea, it's not. So when I first saw this bottle come out just now, I was like, okay. Been here, done this. You know what I mean? I was like, it's not. So, but I didn't pour enough because I tried it and I'm like, oh, there's going to be a lot more to go over here. Yeah. So it's going to take a little bit more.
What is this finished in again?
Nothing.
Nothing. But it's made with the red corn.
This is made with the red corn. Yep.
Huh.
And I would tell you the mash bill if I could, but
don't have it anymore.
I don't have it. But it's made with a they use all local.
Yeah, they are grain to glass. Oh yeah, all the way through,
and they're very proud of that.
I can just tell it's gonna be. We'll get into it, but there's a lot of like you thought it was flavored or finished.
There is some flavors
because there's something going on, and it's more than just what you would get from like.
A different kind of corn.
A different kind of corn. Yeah, a different mash bill. Yeah. So
now they got their start in 2011.
2011. They opened the doors in 2012. Yep.
So we're hitting a company again. We seem to really like these companies, these small craft distilleries that got their start in the bourbon boom, like right 2010, 2011, like really just trying to figure out what it's about. This is unlike Watershed. Well, Watershed still does it. This is only a 4-year-old product. So even though they've been around for a while, they still stick to that 4-year-old. Yeah. This is kind of what it is. Not to be generic. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
I think 4 is a good year.
A good year all the way around. Especially for like craft distilleries.
Not too much, not too little.
Right. And they're not really old enough to have 8, 9, 10-year-olds just like sitting back. Like they would have used it at the time. So like there might be some, but it's going to be a special release sort of deal. And they're not going to have enough to like really come out with a 6, 7, 8-year-old. But yeah, it seems like a cool little company. To go back a little bit more on them before we get in this bottle. You were talking about the rye. And so it's I gotta see it before I can say it.
Oh, I mispronounce this all the time.
Monongahela rye is what they're kind of known for. It's what Pennsylvania is known for. Also, I mentioned
that's a strand of rye or something.
Yeah, it's like a strand of rye. It's a heritage type now.
I was gonna say that's supposedly the rye, the strand of rye that started Pennsylvania rye. Right. Like the kind of when that whole rye started. The I don't even know if it's when rye officially became rye, but even before then, that was kind of the strand that they used because that was best out of Pennsylvania.
And because of their ties to the Whiskey Rebellion, they're on the Whiskey Rebellion trail, which I didn't really know there was one until I went down the rabbit hole in this distillery. So it kind of crosses across Pennsylvania and into DC and goes there. So it's not like close together like Kentucky is. You go from like Pittsburgh to Philly to Baltimore to DC and kind of cross right there.
So this is like a trail that we could go on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And there's different distilleries that are on it. And you can...
That sounds like something
that nobody else has done.
Yeah,
like.
Right. It's kind of an unknown trail that are not as popular anyway. So, and especially with you guys being such big rye guys, I mean, that's going to be a good trail for you.
Oh, yeah. Food would be good.
Food would be great too. Yeah.
That'd be a good, like, eating on the way. Yeah. Like more than you get from other, like, you know... I mean, I feel like even the Bourbon Trail down in Kentucky, it's like they have good food, but it's kind of all the same.
Yeah, Kentucky is just
barbecue.
Just barbecue. Yeah. It's just,
Oh, what are we going to have today? Barbecue and mac and cheese. What are we going to have tomorrow? Barbecue and mac and cheese. Like that's all you get when you're down there.
Right.
You know?
It's not so much what you're eating, it's what you're drinking.
Pork today, beef tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah. I'll go sirloin today, and tomorrow I'll get that pork. Maybe I'll try chicken on Thursday.
For really feeling risky, fish.
Yeah. So you said they do like cask strengths and single barrels and whatnot. Is that all Wapsie?
It's not Wapsie.
Or Wapsie.
Yeah. So Wapsie is its own line that they do with its own unique mash
Okay, that's
bill.
what I was wondering. Okay, so this is not, if anybody's wondering, this is not like their standard.
This is their,
bourbon,
I
but
will say this is their like baseline starter. Their Wapsie is their baseline starter.
But they probably have a more basic bourbon. It's not
That's a
Wapsie?
cask strength.
Yeah.
But they
Oh,
don't,
they don't have like a regular.
yeah, they don't do
okay.
like a, from what I remember being there, they don't do, this is what, 90 proof?
Yeah, 92.
92 proof. They don't do anything this low with just their like other stuff. Yeah.
So their other stuff is not this proofed up. It's
Yeah.
other stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Which provides a very different flavor. And not in a bad way.
And they do lots of bottles.
They do lots of stuff.
I feel like you get this a lot with these craft distilleries where because they're small enough, they can play around. You can play a little bit because they're still as smaller. You can try new things and it's not gonna really break the bank.
and they're trying to experiment because they're trying to figure it all out, right?
But they're doing weird stuff, yeah.
They're going beyond just like whiskey experimental stuff. Their experimental for whiskey really comes down to finishings and unique different finishings, and they do really well at that. But they know this is the mash bill that we like to mess around with for whiskey. Now, when you get into like gin, they do some unique stuff with gin. They do like limoncello. They do like very different stuff. They've got one that is called Aquavit.
Aquavit?
Aquavit, best way I can describe it is it's the Scandinavian version of gin.
Oh, I've heard of this stuff. Yeah.
Yep. It's used with dill and coriander.
Coriander,
It has to have dill and coriander in it.
Which I think I'd like this.
So we got to try it when we were there, and it's like fantastic. It's kind of like a dill pickle, like almost like very light and refreshing, but still on a summer day it would be fantastic.
I was gonna say you could make like picklebacks with that thing, probably.
Right? Yeah. And it's starting to become a little more popular within the U.S., but it's not very well known. So if that gives you any idea of how like experimental and different they are, they've got the room to be able to play around with different things. And it's not like they've got it because no one wants their other stuff. You know what I mean? Like people want it. It's good. But I think they have also found their niche of unique.
Yeah. And they do, like I said, they do a lot of weird stuff. They do the finish and Lagavulin casks. They do a malted barley one, ember and oak, oaked and ember. Yep. And it's still a bourbon, but it has a lot of malted barley. They do a honey. They do a Madeira cask, a stout cask, a sherry cask, all kinds of stuff.
Do they look big enough to have all this stuff? Yeah, I was gonna say, did they have a rick house that they're aging it on site? I got to think, right?
I'm gonna say they're aging on site, but they probably have it in a different location than like downtown. They distill everything there downtown, but I'm assuming
they probably have a warehouse.
I'm assuming the warehouse is somewhere else.
We've seen a lot of people that are doing that with that stuff.
Well, especially when you're coming down to like Pittsburgh, like downtown Pittsburgh, you don't really have a whole lot of space to age.
Oh, it's like Whiskey Row.
Yeah,
they're not aging there. Yeah. But yeah, that's interesting.
For this bottle, the mash bill is Wapsie Valley Red Heirloom Corn. So that's the specialty corn that they're using. 65%.
65%?
Yeah.
All right.
17.5% malted barley, 17.5% wheat. No rye.
It's a lot of malted barley.
It is. I think that's where you're getting the kind of the bready without being the rye kind of feel. I'm very curious on what you guys think, because I know I really like this. When you first see it and you first open it, you're like Chris said, like, we've been here before. I'm not really sure how this is going to go.
Yeah. Just another bourbon from a little craft distillery. And I don't get a lot of the dusty corn.
No. I get more, I'm trying to figure out how to put it into words, but I've gotten this before sometimes, but it's not dusty corn, and it's not just from craft distilleries, but it's from like, it's got to be that kind of corn, that red corn. But I'm trying to describe what that taste is that I am getting, and it's kind of like this. I don't know. It's a hot taste. I can't think of what it is. The hot's not the right word. It's a
hot taste. Yeah.
Temperature wise, it's like not a cold temperature. I'm trying to think of how you would
Like
describe it. Like an
warm?
oven, like a toast, like a toasty kind of oven. But that's not it either. It takes a minute. It's going to take a minute for my brain to get going. But I'm trying to describe what this taste is.
There's one that Steve has had, just not on the podcast. It was from MB Roland, the Barker's Mill.
Oh yeah, Barker's Mill. Yeah.
That the start of this reminds me of Barker's Mill, like very like bready, doughy kind of thing. And I think it's the barley mixed with the wheat. But then that red corn, it's not Jephthah Creed red corn. If you've had Jephthah Creed, you've had the red corn, you're like, okay, this is very like earthy. This is very almost I don't want to say like mildewy, but almost like
I was gonna say it has like well water tendencies to it, like kind of irony in that way, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing in this. Every once in a while, you get like an image in your head that doesn't really relate to flavor, but the image in my head, and maybe it's because we just said iron, which made me think of well water, and then you said hot.
Yeah, I think you might get where I'm going with it.
A fried egg in a cast iron skillet. It's like the cast iron skillet. But it doesn't taste like that. It's just like the image in my head, and I don't know if it's like a camping image.
Yeah,
or
it's like the heat of it. Yeah. But not in a hot tasting.
But there's like a warmth to it.
Yeah. What I think of is like, I don't know how else to describe it, but it's a flavor. But this is what reminds me of is like what you're saying. Like when I was a kid, one summer I was working in Tennessee, and I was basically like weed eating all day. And on like these mountaintops, like not like little weeding, it was like massive weeds, and I was using like an industrial. So I was like just trying to cut down the sides of these. But anyway, it'd be like 3:00. You'd been weed eating all day to a point where like your muscles are starting to cramp up. But it was hot, and the sun was coming down, and it was like hot everywhere. Like when you open an oven and it's like every bit of this is the same temperature, hot. Not like hot, like, but like it was warm. You know what I mean? Maybe the word would be like humid too, like humid. You know what I mean? Yeah. That kind of warmth, that kind of heat. If you could describe that kind of like, and it's comfortable, right? Like you're not cold, but that if you could describe that kind of feeling, kind of what you're saying with the cast iron egg, it's that same kind of like a temperature. If you could describe that temperature into a flavor and not equate it to like hot being like proof. That's what it is.
I think what you're going for maybe is comforting. It's comforting. Like a warm comforting. So you guys will understand this, hopefully. Hopefully our listeners will understand this too. There's always been like a fight between international tractors and John Deere. And if you've ever seen, and it's huge for, I don't know why, but international farmer, like those that have international tractors, they're big in recreating like a tractor, an international tractor out of corn cobs, like old corn cobs, right?
What?
You've never seen this?
No.
Yeah. Like they just build and they paint it red. So
I've
it's
never even heard.
You've never
of this.
seen or heard this. So have you ever seen any like tractors being made out of used corn cobs?
No, that's
Really?
what I'm saying. I've never even heard of that.
Okay. So
we used our tractors where I was from.
But did you use your corn cobs?
Yeah, did you use the corn cobs?
For
Yeah,
pipes only.
So-
I guess.
so maybe that's
That's interesting. That sounds like I want one.
it's really interesting because it's that I think it encompasses everything you're talking about. Kind of that it's not dusty barn corn smell. It's that spent corn smell, that corn cob smell. It's still kind of fresh, but not pipe wise.
Yeah, like a working man's cob.
Yep. And then you also have this thing of like this image of an international tractor. Where it's not necessarily it's the tractor that matters, but it's that I don't know why.
I expect it's American and
Yeah, whenever I see international, whenever I've seen an international tractor in person, it's always like a humid morning. It's not hot. It's still kind of crisp out, but it's also humid out. So it's a little damp, a little dewy. And whenever I see a John Deere tractor, it's like nice out. It's sunny. It's shining. There's kind of the difference between the two. I don't know why I've always seen it that way. In my mind, it's that picture you're trying to describe where it's like, this is homey, this is comforting, but you also have that smell where it's not dusty barn, but it's still like
and hay and like
it's
hay.
still
It's like farm work and
it's the farm work. It's the used corn cob kind of smell. Like that's a very unique smell in and of itself where there's not corn on it and it's just the cob itself. and it's dried
I think
out.
that you're right. Yeah, I think I'm equating. This is such a down home, kind of a. That's the taste and smell is such a like. The only way I can describe it was like my days working on a farm and working on the hills, like on a bank somewhere with dirt and dust and sun coming down and the smells and the heat and that's what this is bringing me back to.
Yeah, I get a lot of like floral honey kind of notes off of it too.
Oh yeah,
And like that, and that honey and the iron is kind of the combination that I think is creating this. That like sweetness of like a springtime honey, the really floral kind, and then the irony flavor that goes with that,
like a well water.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is totally there.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the reason I went to the fried egg and stuff is when I was in Boy Scouts, we would always go to this conservation club. And that was in the town that we were in. And so like that was a normal spot for us to camp, and we would go there but they had well water there. And so that was always what we had there. And when you went downstairs to the kitchen and stuff, you cooked with it and everything. So it was always in all the food. You could always taste it. It makes the food
taste different.
It does. It's a big difference. And so I get that. And I think that's where the fried egg came from, which is because that's what we had when we were camping down there and stuff. That. But yeah, that iron, the honey, the floral, and just kind of like, it tastes like the air after a combine goes by. It's like that is that farming kind of flavor.
Fresh farm.
Yeah.
And if you can, if anybody knows, like if you're listening and you like know, have you ever been out working and there's like a tractor, you like that smell, that's that sense, that taste, sight, sound kind of a thing. If you were to wrap that all up into a flavor, it kind of is this. And if you could take that and actually kind of make it like stale a little bit, not in a bad way, but there's a bit of a staleness to this as well.
Which is fascinating to me because we did 2 different series without Steve, right? We kind of went through Little Book, which was huge, conglomerate, massive distillery, and all the uniqueness that they provide. And within the Little Book series, right? And the ever-changing flavors with each year. And then we jumped into the underrated, unknown kind of distilleries, right? Which they were more craft. And you kind of had a memory or a story that kind of brought up. And then we jump into this one where we're kind of jumping into Bourbon 101 again of like the basics. And this is like the in my mind, if you could call it this, the quintessential basic for craft distillery. Not that there's a quintessential flavor or a quintessential mash bill, but the years fit, the 4 years fits right in. The uniqueness to them and where they're at. That's very quintessential.
The fact that is unique, right, is one of the aspects of being. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And as I hear you guys talk about what this bottle brings, like this glass brings up for you guys, I keep thinking back to all the other craft distilleries that we've experienced, and there's something that they have going for them that no other distillery has, and that is bringing you back to home, like bringing you back to childhood, bringing you back to like those warm, fuzzy memories of like, this is what I remember growing up, Boy Scouts. I remember like going to doing those things, like
different aspects, different
and
bottles,
somehow they're
aspects.
able to capture that in a bottle, like, and it's not like this was their intent. Like, it wasn't like, hey, we got to create a bottle that will cause Nick, Chris, and Steve to go, man, I remember childhood. I remember this story or this thing. I remember summers working working on the farm or doing anything like that. But somehow they're able to capture that.
Yeah, it's almost weird. Like, this is a nostalgia bottle, and I've never had it before. Right. Like, the memories are going through my head. I was like, man, I want to be sitting on this for a while and just thinking about stories from my childhood.
It's pulling at your like memories, your memory really thread, which is a weird thing. But I think the best, whether it's food or bourbon or pipes or it doesn't matter what it is. Some of the best things you can get invoke memories, and different ones at that. You know what I mean? Right. And I don't know what it is about this bottle, but it is kind of like pulling at certain. Like tugging at certain memories. And I think that is what you're getting at with you're saying this is like when you think craft distillers, you think of, this fits right in. And it's because most craft distilleries are unique in themselves. Like you wouldn't pick up one and be like, this is like, you might say it's like, but this is different from this, that, and the other, and you don't get those types of flavors from anything like the big guys. And I think if anybody is listening, like, why this one? Well, I think it's just because it's unique. It's got aspects that are similar to this or that, or like this. There's definitely Jeff the Creed aspects to this,
like hints. It's in the background,
and even if the flavors aren't the same, the way that the uniqueness of the ingredients work, it reminds me of. It's reminiscent of Jeff the Creed. Doesn't mean it's anywhere close flavor wise. It's different, but I love that about craft distilleries because it's if you don't know, like you try those things because they are different. You're not going to get that from other things, and if they're not all the same, not even close. Yeah.
And I think it's so interesting because we talk about on your bourbon journey, right? For thinking this idea of like bourbon 101, this is what bourbon is, right? We talk about this journey that most people start on, and it's these friendly weeded bourbons from massive distilleries, like just well-known name brand distilleries. This is one that I would hand to someone that's starting out and go, you got to try this. Because that wheat and the barley really bring about a sweet, friendly note to the red corn that's almost like
natural sweetness. Yeah.
Yeah, like almost like a candy corn, but not in a bad way. It's very like in the background of like candy corn just after you've, like when you first bite into candy corn, you have that sweetness, that corny sweetness. Yeah. That's what it kind of brings about. And then it kind of fades with the barley and with the wheat. It kind of fades into the background from there. And you start getting other notes that you're like, oh, wow, that's
and
unique.
I like that this is one of those bottles that's also very unique, but isn't harsh. It doesn't have all that rye. And so, usually when we're looking at unique bottles, they tend to not be great for beginners. Right. They tend to be really bold kind of flavors. Whereas this one isn't bold, but it is unique. And it has its own flavor profile that even a new bourbon drinker would appreciate and would be able to say, this is different than Jim Beam, or this is different than Jack Daniels, because I haven't figured out that's not bourbon yet.
And without it ever being like overpowering or too much, or I can't. Yeah, this is not unfriendly. This is not offensive. The only thing, there's like a little bit of pepper, and even that's not offensive in any way. It's this type of pepper that you would. Actually, it's like grinding some pepper on top of a fried egg. Yeah. Like it's that little pop of pepper that you're like, this actually needed it. Like, have you ever had eggs without pepper? Like I've done that many times. Like I always go salt, right? But sometimes I don't do pepper. But you kind of, it's the absence of pepper that you start realizing when you like get done eating two fried eggs and you had no pepper on there. You're kind of like, I kind of missed out on like a little bit because I think it breaks it up. You know what I mean? And I just think flavor, you need
so
that.
You need something else to do.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, even with the salt on an egg, like you need a little bit. You just need a little bit of pepper. Else, I think anybody that I'll fight you if you're like, no pepper on an egg. I'm like, no, you need a little pepper. Just a little. You don't want to overdo it, but you got to have a little bit something. But I think, and that's the only thing that would make this kind of like, because it's not punching, it's not kicking, it's not thrashing, it's not doing anything, but it's, standing up for itself with it. Like I got pepper. You know what I mean? Like and that's it. Like, that's it. He's like, not doing much more than that, but I like it. Yeah, I think it's really good.
It's really good.
It's unique. It's different. It's not like my favorite flavor profiles, but I really appreciate it for what it is because it is different. It's unique. And I could see myself, this bottle would hit some days and not others. You know what I mean? I just feel like it is very much like a down memory lane.
That's what it is. It's a nostalgia bottle, which is weird for a bottle you've never had before. Right. So, but yeah, this is one I would want on the shelf just to be like, if I'm ever talking about my grandparents or ever talking about Boy Scouts, like or this is the one I'm going to grab and like to talk about that. Like if I have a story for you about my childhood, this is the glass I want with me to help bring those memories back.
It's just strange. Like I'm getting other memories from like I just had a memory I haven't had in my like probably since it happened. You know what I mean? When I was like 6 years old, or walking home from the library, but it's weird. It's like it's bringing these things forefront. It's so strange that it can do that. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's the thing about bourbon and whiskey. It's powerful. You know what I mean?
It's powerful. It can bring about some
make you want to fight, or it can make you want to do a lot of things. But it can bring memories, I guess.
Now, do we know, is red corn prevalent around Pittsburgh, or like around that area?
Pennsylvania?
Yeah. I don't think any red corn whatever is prevalent anymore.
Well, did it get its start in that area?
I don't think anyone could ever answer that question.
I think red corn got its start in America.
Yeah, it was just corn was just a thing that the natives used. And so
because they use Wapsie, so theirs is the Wapsie red corn that they use, right? And then you got Jephthah Creed that uses Bloody Butcher, which I've never heard anyone else that use Bloody Butcher. Yeah. And then Liberty Pole uses Bloody Butcher in theirs, and they're very like, we're different from others that use red corn in the Pennsylvania Pittsburgh area because of our strain of red corn. And I didn't think about that until now, and I was like, well, is red corn like prevalent over there? Like, why?
I think it can be.
But you're talking two distilleries that are like maybe 10, 15 minutes away from each other.
A red corn is a hardier corn, and it's kind of a colder, wetter area, right? And so I think probably a hardier corn would do better than I mean, that's what I always think of when I think of red anything, right? Like Irish and Scottish people have red to them. It's kind of a cold, wet environment, They come out tough.
Yeah, they're kind of hardy.
They're hardy, they're tough, they're working people, and I feel like red corn's kind of like that, whereas like some of the other corn can be a little bit more like fickle.
Right. Yeah.
Could maybe potentially not do well if the weather isn't great, kind of a deal. It's not as harsh as some like old German Dutch lady that has roots to the Amish, but in burning witches, right? Like they did, like that's that whole area.
That's
right?
that area.
Like they were Dutch, and they were burning witches, and they were kind of Amish, kind of not. And what do you call Puritans? That's what I'm thinking of.
Puritans, yeah.
I think red corn is a very Puritan type of a thing. You know what I mean?
I get that. I guess I can see that. Yeah.
Unforgiving, harsh, can deal with things. Might burn witches, kind of a deal. Like
might burn witches. I appreciate there's a might in there. They could not.
Could do it. They have the option.
They think about it for sure.
They wake up every morning going, I might burn a witch.
Might burn a witch. Or I might have some chocolate.
Right. Yeah.
One or the chocolate. One or the other.
Today's a witch burning day or a chocolate day. We're not sure which.
Could be either or. Or I might smoke some Dutch Masters. Right. Dutch Master cigars. I might do these things. or I might just work on my tractor.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think it's hardy. I like it. I think it imparts. We've talked about red corn quite a bit on here. And then you got red wheat. You've got like all these different ingredients that people are like, what's this versus that? And it's like, it's just different. You know what I mean? Like if you've ever used, it's like when nobody's ever tried, if you've never tried sourdough, right? Sourdough bread, like that is different in a way that white bread. It's there, but bread, but sourdough is different from rye, from pumpernickel. Pumpernickel is another one. I grew up eating pumpernickel bread as a normal thing. We never were like, oh, we're eating pumpernickel. Like we just like had bread, and most of the time it was pumpernickel. We just were a family that ate that stuff. But now people are like, oh, pumpernickel's got a very unique flavor to it, and it's so weird and it's interesting. And I'm like, to me, that's just bread.
Bread is bread.
Yeah. And rye, same thing with rye bread. Like, just grew up eating it, but they all have their own unique flavor, but they're all bread. Right. You know what I mean?
And I think that's the fun part in this series for me of pulling this bottle out first is this idea that we talk about bourbon, being bourbon, it has to be 51% corn, right? But when you say that, people have this idea in their mind of has to be yellow dent corn. Right. It has to be yellow corn. Like that's what everyone uses. And, maybe wheat or maybe rye, but barley is it's a very small aspect of the mash bill. Whereas you got this one where it's like, no, we didn't use yellow corn. We used red. We used red corn.
We used 17% barley.
Yeah, 17.5 barley,
17 wheat. So we used equal amounts of wheat and equal amounts of barley in this guy, and 65% corn. Yeah, but a very unique corn. It's not what would be considered the norm when you talk about like, oh, this a bourbon. What makes a bourbon a bourbon? Oh, it has to be this. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is
what I think.
This is bourbon.
Bourbon flavors. This is not one I would think of, but this is 100% bourbon,
right?
But
exactly.
It is so like not what you'd think of, and it's so good though, and it's also sweeter on the end than I like. I'm picking up a lot more sweetness now.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
Yeah. I really like this. Like I could see myself drinking a lot of this.
So I think this bottle was like $45 to $50, maybe.
Okay,
if I remember.
So good price.
So
craft.
Yeah.
4 years.
Yep.
Unique mash bill. Probably fantastic local ingredients for under $50.
Their finishings were, before tax were up in 70, 75, I think.
And that's good for anything finished. And finish that's done right. Yeah.
But after you guys have had 2 of their stuff, you've had their rye finished in Scotch barrels, and then this guy. Would you recommend this company, this distillery?
It sounds like if you like, in terms of a first early bourbon person, so like a bourbon 101 kind of person, I would recommend this bottle. This is a very good bottle for that. The other one, the rye there, I really liked the rye. The finishing wasn't that much. It wasn't near as peaty or smoky as I was hoping for.
It boasted,
but it was still there. Like you could still taste it a little bit there. So the finishing was still a good finishing. Just wasn't really what I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think this bottle. I would say anybody new. I think if you were new to bourbon, maybe you would struggle a little bit with this. Okay. I don't think you'd appreciate it for all the aspects we are. I think you would like it. I don't think you'd love it because it is. It's hard for us to remember, but it is very much unique from what you drink when you're first drinking. Like if we had this the first couple of years when we were sitting around drinking Four Roses, single barrel and things like that.
Do you think we would have liked it?
I don't think we would have. It would have been our favorite. I think we would have been like, this is just so different, and I don't know if I can. I don't think we would have disliked it. I just don't think it's something we would have gone after. But that being said, I think it's good for the guy who's gotten past that point, right? And like you're starting to learn and you're starting to appreciate things for their differences, and you're more than just drinking bourbon. You're getting more into like different flavors and developing. When you're developing a palate, I think this is where you should. And then anybody past that, like I think even if you're experienced, I think you would enjoy this bottle. I think if you are the kind of person that likes craft, this would be the one that you'd recommend, because there's crafts we've done where not so much. You know what I mean? And I don't know about other people, but I almost like want to collect craft distilleries. Like when I find one that I like and it's close enough I can visit, like hell yeah, like sign me up. I want to experience this again because I love experiencing a good craft distillery, especially when you've done some and they're not good. You know what I mean? You're like, that really sucked, and it felt, you know what I mean? Felt short.
This was the worst.
Then when you go to one and you're like, this is just so great. I love this company so much. You know what I mean? Or this, whatever. So it sounds like that would be this. This bottle tastes like that would be this. Yeah. It's close enough. We can find out for sure. I can find out for sure. I'm intrigued. I think this bottle's good. Place sounds awesome. The other one we tried was good. I like this better though, which is interesting. The other one was a rye and it was finished in Scotch. I should like that more, but I like this. I like this better.
Your one you'd go for.
Yeah. I just like how different it is. It's unique. I think I can't get past what Steve was saying. And it just took a while to like kind of realize because we kept saying like, it reminds me, and I couldn't describe it. I'm trying to describe memories of specific times more than flavor. That's what this bottle does. It invokes memories.
It really does. Reason.
Yeah. It's like bringing out like memories, which is cool. I like that. I mean, you got to love those aspects. to whatever it is whether it's smoking a pipe or drinking or you're eating food, or because there's the food that will do the same thing. Sights, smells, tastes, sounds, brings back those memories.
And on the pipe, I'm glad we went with Carter Hall. This is a nice, very basic pipe smoke. So it just kind of laid the floor, and I don't think it interfered too much with the flavor.
Yeah.
I don't think it really added to it either. It was just a good, nice little cover.
Good all around American tobacco,
right?
And been around forever.
Yeah.
And it's good. Yeah, it went well with it. I think randomly, I picked the right one.
Right. Yeah.
But you can't go wrong. First thing in the morning at Carter Hall, you can't go wrong.
All right.
Well, we'll do this again.
Yeah. On to the next
With a different
time.
bottle.
With a different one. Another Bourbon 101.
Stay tuned.
Cheers. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you want more great content and other perks, be sure to support the show by clicking the link in the show notes. We can be reached on our website, whiskeychaserspod.com, with any ideas for the show. Thanks again.